Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, Putinbot, and today we are going to be doing a guide on yet another epic. This is an old school epic, and if you saw the guide I did earlier on Julianna, you will be pleased to know that we are bringing in her boyfriend, Romero. Personally, I think this dude looks like Jaime Lannister from the Game of Thrones. I mean, just look at this armor. He's got the lion. Now, remember, a Lannister always pays his debts. You don't think he has two hands instead of just one. But, I mean, in all fairness, at the start of the show, Jaime Lannister had two hands too. So there is that. And, Putin, focus. Focus, Putin. Get off of the Game of Thrones tangent. Remember when the show was good. Remember how it ended. And get back to Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, sorry about that. Tirade over. So Romero is a Force epic of the Shadow Order, and I like him a lot. He's a good support champion, and in this video we're going to be going over his gear. We're going to look at his masteries. We're going to see, can he actually do any damage. Basically, just it's going to be interesting to see how this guy stacks up against a heavyweight like, say, Vergis, who is just an absolute tank when it comes to dungeons. Now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at his total stats for Romero. Has 196 accuracy. It's a little bit low, but I could put some with the aura lead to kind of compensate for that. And we'll go over his skills here in just a moment. He has 228% crit damage, 100% crit rate, 230 speed. His defense is 4,655, and he has just under 47,000 health. As you can see, I've got him in 3 pieces of resilience. I have got him in a defense banner. I have got him in a crit damage amulet. I've got him in a defense ring. I've got him in speed boots, prioritizing crit rate wherever I can. Got him in a defense chest, crit damage gauntlets, and as you can see, I'm looking for crit rate and crit damage wherever it is I'm able to get it from. If I get some speed in there, so much the better. If I get some HP, so much better for that as well. Let's go over his skills. His A1, Bring Hope, attacks one enemy, places a 7.5% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. And he's a defensive-based champion, which makes it very easy to keep alive. Sidebar: back when I first started playing Raid Shadow Legends, we used to see Romero all the freaking time in the arena, and he was a terror. He was an absolute monster. Don't really see him so much. We don't see him so much anymore, but back in the day, he was just a beast of a champion. His A2, Sucker, places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Steals 1 buff from each enemy. That's why I have him running with accuracy. He has that strip with the heal built in on the same move, and it's on a quick cool. It's on a fast cooldown as well when booked. And Romero doesn't take a crap ton of books. A lot of these old school epics, they didn't need 15, 20, 30 books. I mean, they were very affordable. And so if you get even these old school epics, they're still perfectly viable for you today. His A3 places a shield buff on all allies equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns. Places a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns, and that is on a 4-turn cooldown when booked. Then he has an A3. This is only available if you have Julianna. It's an AoE attack. It's the only AoE attack that he has. Attacks all enemies 3 times. It's a triple hitter. And once again, is a defensive-based nuke. We have a blessing with him. I took Iron Will, just looking to get some damage mitigation and also raise up his base defense. Masteries for Romero, I have got him going down the offense tree. I finished up with War Master, and then I went down the support tree. I got some accuracy. I went with Swarm Spider, gets more accuracy, Cycle of Magic, and then I finished off with Lasting Gifts because I wanted to have a chance to extend the duration of those buffs that he's putting on the team. I mean, Romero is just he is a very good support champion. He's a good tank. If you're having a hard time keeping your team alive early game or mid game, look no further than Romero if you have him, because this guy, he can keep you up. He doesn't have an ally protect, but he has the heals and he has the shield. So without any further ado, let's hop on in and let's do some wreckage. Let's go into dungeons. And let's go into Dragon's Lair. We're going to do stage 20. And I've got a team put together here. As you can see, Julianna is not on this team currently. I'm going to change that now. Let's take Wuji out. Let's put Julianna in, because I'm interested in seeing how hard does his tandem ability hit if you have Julianna. So, I mean, this is kind of got... Yeah, I guess when we kind of look at this video is that this is going to be a tandem guide for Julianna and Romero. I mean, hey, why not, right? I mean, but they're both good champions. And we have a defense down. Let's go ahead and pull up a weaken. We'll put Sakara in. So let's just see how this works. So we have defense down from Thylesia. Here we go. Speed everybody up with Apothecary. One thing I want to point out, we do not have a Reser on this team. So if someone goes down, that's it. They are done. Okay, and then here is our weaken debuff. Okay, so now here is where we want to see how things are able to do. So we have defense down, we have weaken. Let's go ahead and do the A4. Attacks all enemies 3 times. How hard does this hit? Let's take a look and see. Not very hard. To be honest with you, I would have been very surprised if it did from a defensive based champion. Let's just go ahead and use Julianna's A1. Boop. Goodbye. Let's extend the duration of the debuffs. Let's start killing some people before we start taking losses ourselves. 45k on the A1, not bad. Keep in mind, Romero's role, he is not a nuker. He is a support champion. On the next wave, what we're going to do, I'm going to put this thing on auto. I just want to just see what the damage looks like for his A4. It was decent, but it wasn't amazing. What Romero is here for, his job is to keep the team alive. So I'm just going to put this on auto. I'm going to be quiet, and let's see what happens, shall we? Okay, and there we have it. We got through. We did not take any casualties at all. Julianna and Sakara were able to kind of bring in the pain. Let's take a look and see what this is. Day set. I'll keep it. We'll see how it works later on. But that looks pretty decent. That's a Romero, so he brought in 134,000 in healing for the entire team, which is pretty solid. And then Apothecary came in with a couple of heals, I believe I saw. But Romero did a great job with those shields, with those continuous heals. He was able to keep a fragile team alive. So let's just do a team of rare champions. And once again, I will be shutting my face, so that way we can just see how this thing goes. Again, we're going to do this without a Reser. Romero's job is to keep this team alive. That is his only job, his only task, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep this team alive. Can he do it? Now, I am going to keep Thylessi in the team. I do have a War Maiden, but she is currently naked, and I am low on silver, so I do apologize. You will have 2 epics on this run. Okay, and there we have it. Let's go and take a look here at the healing. So Romero came in with just over 500,000 in healing. There are a couple of times it got kind of close there, but Apothecary was able to come in with the spot heals. Romero was able to keep up the heals and the shields with the heal over time. And here we are. This is a very fragile team, and Romero was able to keep the team up. Now, one thing also, and I will link this video down below on my previous guide with Julianna, Romero really comes into his own in Faction Wars. The Sacred Order Faction Wars scripts are tough, and Romero really helps just increase your sustainability, helps keep your team alive. And if you have Julianna, if you run those two together, they can just annihilate the waves. It is a great combination. Now let's go ahead and take a look and see how he does in a off affinity dungeon. Because I always like to try and show Ice Golem and Dragon. It's just a good way to kind of see how the team works. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, is how well do they work if they're strong affinity, neutral affinity, or weak affinity. Of course, that doesn't work so much for a damage dealer because you can get weak hits. But for an off affinity tank, as here Romero is weak affinity, all these enemies are just going to be piling up on him. This would be a good test for him. And let's just go on in and see how this works, shall we? There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the synergy that this team has works, and Romero is a big part of it. Romero, his whole job is to bring in shields and to bring in that passive healing through his A1 and his A2. He also brings in some damage using his A4, which you gotta you just gotta really just love. Does it hit hard? No, it doesn't, but it all adds up. But look at the healing here. He did over 400,000 in healing. Duchess didn't have to use her res once. And a lot of that was because of Romero. There are a couple of times where Julianna, she's a nuker, so she's fragile. She got low on health, but between Duchess and her passive and the Veils and then Romero's passive healing that he brings in, again, because of those heal over time buffs that he's able to bring out, this run was never in any kind of jeopardy at all. And I've already mentioned Faction Wars. Another place where you're really going to have a good use for him is going to be in Doom Tower. In your Doom Tower secret rooms, where you have to have Force Champions, or you have to use Epics, or if you have to use Sacred Order Epics. If you have Romero, bring them in. If you have Romero and Julianna both together, bring them both in. They work so well together. You will not regret it at all. So, I mean, just final thoughts. I'm already diving into it. Stack him with defense, give him enough health to be able to stay alive. And if you're not trying to build him out for any damage, because frankly, I mean, he doesn't hit hard anyway, there's nothing wrong with putting him into defense gloves and a defense amulet. I mean, that would be perfectly appropriate as well. Just use him as a heal battery. I kind of have him in a hybrid build just to bring in some damage, but that's not necessary. One thing I would, though, that I would strongly recommend, though, with your masteries, is I do recommend you go on the offense tree and go ahead and go support. This Lasting Gifts mastery is a godsend on him. Well, y'all, I mean, I think I was going to end the video here. I mean, this would be short and sweet, to the point. Romero is a simple champion. He has a simple kit, but it's an effective kit, and if you have him, and if you're struggling with clearing content, bring him in. Being a support champion, he does not do damage, so you don't need to build him to be a damage dealer. You can use him as an off affinity tank. You can just use him as a heal bot. Do what you got to do with him, but if you have him, I think you're really going to enjoy what it brings to the table. Well, I am Putinbot. I'm going to head on out. If you like this video, if you like this content, please give this video a thumbs up. The likes just really just help push the content up higher up in the old search algorithm. And if you like the channel, drop a subscribe. The channel is growing fast. I'm really pushing towards 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help, we'll be able to get there. Y'all, this is Putinbot. I am signing out, and I will see y'all on the next video.